Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Handgun World podcast. I'm Bob Main. I am your host, and this is a practical show done by a very practical guy, and that is me because, as most of you know, I am not ex-law enforcement. I'm not ex-military. I'm not an industry insider. I'm not a gun writer or anything like that. I'm your everyday guy. And so I'm now recording episode 591 of the Handgun World podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I am also doing a YouTube video right now. The first 10 minutes or so of this podcast, it will be available for those of you who are subscribers to me on YouTube. If you don't know how to find me on YouTube, all you got to do is search Handgun World. A link will be below this video and also in the show notes of this podcast. This show is brought to you by Keepers Concealment, makers of, I think, the absolute best appendix carry holsters on the market. Check them out, keepersconcealment.com. More so than their fabulous appendix carry holsters, another great value that they offer is they are affiliates of CCW Safe. Incredible legal protection. You got to have legal protection, folks. If you don't have legal protection, you might win the first fight, which is the gun fight, but the second fight, which is the legal fight for your life, you could still be in prison even if you do everything correctly. So become a member of CCW Safe. You can get a 10% discount by using the coupon code KC10OFF. It'll be in the show notes, and it'll also be in the notes below this video. You can get a 10% discount now. I got a special announcement. You can get a 10% discount on all of the products sold at Keepers Concealment just because you are a listener or a viewer of my show, Handgun World. So go ahead and put in that coupon code Handgun World at checkout, and that'll give you a 10% discount off of everything that is made by Keepers Concealment. Okay, so let's get right into this week's topic matter. Keep them mostly stock. That's what I want to talk about today. Keep them mostly stock. What am I saying? What I'm saying is the guns that you are going to carry, in my humble opinion, again, this is only opinion, so, you tune into this show to hear my opinions, you watch this channel to hear my opinions, and so here they go. If you have differing opinions, I love differing opinions. So go ahead and put a comment below this video, put a comment in the notes or on Facebook or anything regarding my audio podcast. Whatever you want to do. Even if you want to put a comment on Apple Podcasts, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, formerly known as iTunes, I take reviews there as well. I can't respond to those, but I'll at least take a review there. But give me some comments and let me know what you think. I am a firm believer. Now, I've been doing this now since 2005. So here it is, 2022. So I'm on my 17th year of being a shooter, being a student of the gun, and by the way, I'm not trying to steal any name from Student of the Gun podcast. That's a great podcast. You need to listen to Student of the Gun. But I have been studying shooting, and we're always students, folks. So check that out. Check that podcast out. But for a very long time, I've been taking training as a student before I got into teaching people. Also, I have been competitive shooting now, and of course I've been doing instruction myself as well. I've been an instructor. I've trained hundreds of people now. What I have seen just from experience, this is experience talking now. I'm not just pulling this out of thin air and say, hey, guess what? Here's an idea that I think is good. My eyes have seen this, my ears have heard it, and it's experiences that I've seen either in training classes or in competition matches. Keep them mostly stock. Your guns, your firearms, whatever it is that you choose to carry, keep them mostly stock. Here's the great thing. The good news is manufacturers are making guns right now that have so many great stock features. out of the box. There's really no reason to modify some of the guns that right now are coming out. If you're going to be a top-level competitor and you want to modify your gun for competition, go for it. Or if you just want to get a project gun or whatever and you want to just make a gun that's cool, yeah, fine. Who doesn't like cool guns? Everybody likes cool guns. I love cool guns. I'm talking about what you conceal carry. See, I'm a practical guy. I look at this from an everyday guy's perspective. But I don't have a tinfoil hat perspective. I'm not thinking that anytime soon I'm probably going to have to be shooting 35 zombies. I don't think so. I think the likelihood of that is pretty slim. So my guns are also practical. And one of the reasons why I believe in keeping them stock is because of fewer malfunctions. Now, I had somebody challenge me recently. I had somebody challenge me and send me an email and say, what I'm talking about is all dogma, that it's okay to modify your guns, that I'm engaging in some dogma because I'm saying keep your gun stock. Well, I'm not. This is not dogma. This is experience. This is what I've seen, what I've heard, what I've witnessed. Most guns, I'm not saying all, but most guns that malfunction are guns that have been heavily modified. Today, there's not really a reason to modify too many guns. You know what you need to modify? The shooter needs modification. In my opinion, that's what it is. I've been a big advocate of the 1,000-round trigger job. When I first started this show, I started talking about the 1,000-round trigger job. I think every gun that you're going to carry should get a 1,000-round trigger job. Bob, what's a 1,000-round trigger job? I am glad you asked. Shoot your gun 1,000 rounds before you make any modifications to it. Get to know your gun. Get to know your firearm. Get to know all the different things about your gun. And one of the best ways to do that is to shoot it at least 1,000 rounds. Better yet, take a good training class. Go to several competition matches. Whatever you have to do to run 1,000 rounds through that gun, you will know your gun better and you'll know what you have to do. I have spent a lot of money in the past modifying guns that didn't need to be modified because I was just too impatient. I didn't shoot them 1,000 rounds. Let me talk about 3 really good guns that I own that are just fine stock out of the box. Unmodified. Never touched. I'll start with my Sig P365xl. This is easily my absolute favorite carry gun right now. P365xl. If you're watching this on video, you can see my 365xl. Mine does not have an optic on it yet, but it's optics ready. So it's got the optics cut in the slide. Let's see if I can get a close-up there. An optics cut in the slide. So it's ready when I decide to go ahead and put an optic on it. But just as an iron sight gun, it's fantastic. The grip is great. The trigger, it's got a nice flat face trigger, which I like. The grip is perfectly textured, perfectly shaped for my hands. It's got a nice beaver tail on the back of it to help me control recoil. It's got a nice rail in case I want to put a nice accessory on here. It's got fantastic SIG sights, night sights. What do they call them? X-ray, I think? Is that what it is? If you know the exact name, give me a comment, okay? And tell me, but I think it's the SIG X-ray sights. A green front sight. I like the green front sight. And then it's got tritium vials on the rear sight, too. In the daylight, that green front sight, it's easy for me to see, and it just jumps right out at me. So it's a great gun to shoot. This is a small gun, but feels like a big gun. This thing is no problem to conceal, but it's a small gun that feels like a big gun. I like small guns that feel like big guns. What I mean is, when it's in my hand, it feels like a big gun. When I shoot it, the recoil is like a large gun, but it's not a large gun. And out of the box, 12 round capacity in the magazine. So 12 rounds plus one in the chamber, 13 round gun out of the box. That's plenty. 13 rounds of 9mm is just fine for me. I believe with my skill and my training, I can probably get the job done in 13 rounds. I would suggest that's what you should shoot for, right? No pun intended. Shoot for it. Get the job done in 13 rounds. Get the job done with the magazine that your gun holds, the first magazine. Get the job done with the first magazine. Last year I had John Correa from Active Self-Protection on my show. You can go back to some of the episodes about, I think, a year ago, and you'll find it. You'll find my episode with John Correa. And I asked him the question, how often does a person have to reload in self-defense? Very, very seldom, probably never, do they actually have to reload their gun because they ran out of the 12 rounds, and then they got to put another 12 rounds in the gun to win the fight. The fight's going to be over within 12 rounds. Trust me. Another fantastic gun, my Shadow Systems MR920 Elite. Perfect out of the box. Okay? Shadow Systems perfected the Glock. And, I mean, the grip, you know what? If you don't like Glock's grip angle, get a Shadow Systems MR920. You can make this grip angle be anything you want. You can make it more like a 1911. You can make it like a Glock. You can make it like an M&P type of a grip angle. Whatever you want to do. Perfect out of the box. There's nothing that I have to do to this gun. These sights are also fantastic. These are plain black rear sights. The shape of them is great. The front sight is a phenomenal night sight, easy to see, kind of a yellowish green color. Just great. I mean, everything about it is great. The magazine release button here, I'll let you take a look at that. This is all stock. The magazine release and the slide release button, they're all stock. Undercut trigger guard. Undercut. Look at the serrations on the top of the slide, and look at the optics cut on the top of the slide. Holy cow! What a gun out of the box. Leave it stock. Nice mag pull, 15 round mags. If I can't get the job done in 15 rounds, I got a bigger problem than just needing a reload. Think about that. If you can't get the job done, you got a bigger problem than just needing a reload. So, I have more to say on this. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, I'm going to go ahead and conclude the video now, but look at the link below. The link below this video, there's a direct link to this episode if you want to go back and listen to the audio. Like and subscribe this channel. Pass the word on to your friends, your family members, whoever, anybody that you think is interested in shooting. Thanks for watching this. And again, if you want to hear the rest of what I'm talking about, I'm going to be continuing this as soon as I shut this camera off over at handgunworld.com. Thanks for watching.